Hi, my name is Craig Holloman. I am President and CEO of Entourage Executive Protection and Point 370. I've served in the military as a military police officer under the United States Army, and I have been in the security field for about 20 years.
Mike Johnson, former Marine. I've been in the security industry for since the mid '90s, electronic, physical security, and we're just two guys sitting on a couch who want to tell you how to get your CCW and lead you through the process that we went through to get ours. So here we are.
Here we are. So I guess the first thing we need to talk about is the application process and what you need to even be able to fill that out, and what are the requirements in order for you to even be seen for a CCW.
Well, you've got to live in the county that you want, or you've got to live in the county that you're going to get the permit in. So for me, that's Los Angeles County. Actually, for both of us, yep. Los Angeles County, which is one of the longest process lead times there is. We had a student get hers in San Bernardino County, and it shocked us how quickly she got it.
Yes.
Hers was months from start to finish. Versus mine was 2 years, 3 months, and I think 4 days for the entire process. That was from when I handed in the application to finally walking out of the sheriff's station with my card. So,
and mine was about 18 months, and I did mine almost 2 years before you did yours.
Yeah.
Because my renewal was coming up at the same time as your initial.
Yeah, he was telling me, oh, you just got to go on the app. I'm like, I don't have an app, man. I don't have an app.
It's a whole different
We'll get to
experience when you get to the renewal, 10 times easier than the initial.
Don't drag your feet, people. Don't drag your feet. Sorry, please continue.
So speaking of dragging your feet, because you took so long.
Yeah.
You also paid more.
Yeah.
Than I did for my initial, and the process obviously took longer because now there was more people on board.
Yep.
I believe that currently 1% of California residents have their CCW.
Yeah, if that. I mean, it's in the hundreds of thousands, but compared to the millions of people that live in California, so it's a small percentage. But it's also, to that point, when we were, when I was in the office getting mine during the interview process, I asked the deputy, I'm like, hey, listen, I envision you guys are sitting here with a stack of applications, to the roof, and there's like two of you. She's like, you're not far off. There's four of us. We're full-time deputies, and yes, this is our job to process these, but also we have casework. We have other things that we have to do. So their backlog is ridiculous. Tremendous. Yeah.
And if you mess up one thing on your application, good luck. That will actually slow down your process even more.
Yeah.
I know to start, we were saying you have to live in the county.
Got to live in the county.
Or the county in which you're applying for.
Anywhere in California. If you're going to apply, you have to live in the county that you're applying for. So it's just whatever county you reside in.
And that's a simple search either through the sheriff's website, or you can just do a Google search to find out exactly what county you live in and what CCW paperwork you need to fill out. Depending on the county, and also inside of the same county, depending on what region you live in, they might need you to complete a reference check.
So some of them do have what they call their character reference, and that's. But see, then it's just going to kind of depend on, I think, where you were living. So you had someone who was living in Pasadena who had to have character references, still L.A. County, but they had a further requirement where they were living, and we didn't have that. So
correct. And then there's also the fact that, I'll just shoot out some questions. You can shoot back some answers.
Bring it on. Let's go.
I don't have my physical driver's license. I just have the paper copy. Can I apply with that? Or
that one, that's going to depend. I would say probably not. You're probably going to need physical. You're going to need multiple forms of ID on that one. But again, that's going to depend on county, and that's also going to depend on whoever's assigned to you. We'll call them investigators for the purpose of this conversation. But yeah, if they're okay with that, that's a question that would come up after you've already put in your application and they start contacting you, whether it's 2 weeks, 2 months, or however long it is. That would be one of the questions you're going to ask is, hey, I only have this as my form of identification. Is that acceptable? And then they'll give you options. The process, they kind of do the best they can to keep the process moving. But if you trip up and take too long or don't read like in the details of their emails, because their emails will specifically state on some things, you have 10 days to respond.
Correct.
Or you have 10 days to take this action. And if you don't, your file comes out of the queue and you have to start the process over again, which also means paying, because at the beginning, as soon as you turn in your application, you have to pay money.
Correct.
So I don't know if that answered your question, but
it does.
Yeah.
100%. So let's say that I do have, I get my application. I have my license. I have everything that I need. I don't own a weapon yet. Can I fill out the application, submit that, and then?
Nope.
No.
You have to, so getting into requirements, you have to be 21 years or older for a CCW. You have to legally be able to own a firearm. You also have to have the firearm, that firearm that you're going to put on your permit has to be registered to you by or with the California Department of Justice. So when you go to purchase your firearm, there's a form that you fill out that basically ties you to that firearm, and California DOJ has that list, and that has to match, and they're going to check that. So as you're going through the process in the application, they're going to ask you make, model, serial number of the firearm that you want to carry, or firearms, depending on, and that has to match. They're going to do that check. If it doesn't match, that's going to cause problems. So,
and like he's saying, if you get one number on the serial number wrong, you just caused yourself a lot of headache.
And I went through that. I went through serial number issues. I went through make and model number issues because my form from the DOJ said one thing, but the manufacturer actually called it something else. And so this was for one of my firearms was a 1911, and the model number on the box was different from what was actually filed from the FFL. I bought it from Turner's, right? And so when they filed it, they had a different number on there, and that came back, and they're like, "Yeah, this doesn't match." That was another month of delay right there. So, yeah.
All right, so I go through all that. I have the weapon, but about 10 years ago, I had a DUI. Is that going to be a problem?
So DUIs, I think, fall off after 7, but I don't know, right? If it comes up in the background check, and if they have an issue with it, and if you said on your application that, no, I don't have any record of anything, that could be a problem, right? So tell the truth. Don't lie on your applications.
And so let's go into the interview process. When I did mine, I had to actually go in and speak to the investigator. With yours, you had the opportunity of just calling in.
It was even better.
Phone call.
It was even better. So I'm expecting a phone call to set up an interview, and I was at a trade show, wandering around doing the things that I do at trade shows, and phone rings, and I'm looking at it, and, spam.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pick up this call. But I also know that they're going to be calling. They're going to be calling. They said they're going to call. So I'm like, all right. So I pick it up. That was my interview. Had I not answered that call, who knows what kind of delay that would have been. I don't even know if they would have left a message, right? But I sat down and went through, answered all her questions, which is basically all they were doing was they were reading the application and having me answer the questions that I answered in the application, whether they're trying to catch you and, telling lies or whatnot, I don't know, but that's their verification process. Was it like that for you when you went in for your interview? Did they ask you the same stuff?
They walked me through it. I had a great investigator. It was just at the end of Just Cause. So they were like, well, what do you need it for? And
did you tell them, or did you like, hey, you can't ask me that?
Well, I told him because, hey, I'm sitting there in the thing. So,
yep.
But it was after I answered him, he said, so you need it for this then, right? So he actually guided me to make sure that the answer that I gave matched with exactly with what I was saying. Yeah. Because as layman, you could say, I just want to keep my family safe. There's bad areas that I go to work in, et cetera. There's a way that he was looking for it to have been said, so he helped me navigate the words.
Walked you through it.
Right.
And so, because when you got yours, that would have been very recently after they removed that thing. And that's part of the whole thing is the state of California for a long time had what they called a just clause in the application where you had to specify a reason.
Right.
Why do I need this? Why do I want this? Why am I applying for this? And then Bruin versus State of California challenged that. That was removed, and so now anybody can apply and go through the process as long as you, again, are 21, don't have any felonies, allowed to, own a firearm. I'm not even sure about the felony thing. Of course, if you're a felon, you can't have a firearm. So legally have to have a firearm, have clean background, all that kind of good stuff. You can apply and go through the process. So, when I went through, they never asked, and it wasn't on the paperwork. So.
Yeah, and like I said, I think it was more of a formality, like they're just getting used to not at.
Yeah.
So he did walk me through that portion. And then after that, so you're done with your interview portion. what came next?
Okay, so we got done with the interview, and then they said, okay, we will reach out to you when it's time for you to do your training. And that took months for that email to come in. Oh, no, live scan.
Yeah, you have to do
live scan. That's right. That's right. It was, we did the thing, and then now you get to go live scan. And it's important. On the website, they'll spell everything out that you're going to do, right? But don't do any of it until they tell you to.
Correct.
So if you went gung-ho and put in your application and went and got your training and did the live scan, your training won't be valid. Your live scan won't be valid because they're not through that part of the process yet. So you have to wait. You have to wait until they tell you to do it.
Correct.
And then go do it.
Yeah, and yeah, what you're saying is absolutely correct. I saw people that were in my CCW, actually the qualification class.
Oh,
that did it early.
Same.
Before they.
And I'm like, why are you even here? Even the instructor was like, why are you guys here?
Yeah.
And now the answer they gave, I totally respected, which was, we wanted to see what it was like. You know, I wanted to get a little extra training, a little extra, exposure to it. And I was like, okay, respect, because yeah, you're spending money for this course that you can't use.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to do it again. But, God bless them. They had read the fine print and they knew that that's what they were into. No one was like, what? So I was like, okay.
That's clutch, because it's true. Like you said, if you go in early and do anything before you're supposed to do it, you're creating a headache for yourself, because everything that you did, you're going to have to redo it with the date that matches or aligns with the date that they told you that you can go do it. Yeah. So if you do your fingerprints a week early, a day early, it doesn't count. You're going to have
down to the hour.
Yes.
Mine said you have to wait until, or you have until this time. Like they gave you a window that was very, very specific. Yes. So yeah.
And then after the fingerprints, then there's a long wait. Yeah. And then they tell you that you can go to training.
Yep.
So the important thing with training is to know that there is a list of vendors that are allowed to do it. You can't just go have training with anyone. There has to be somebody that is on their approved vendor list. So I would definitely check that before you start going down that road of getting the training, just to make sure that they're a vendor that they're currently using. And then that process, I think it's 18 hours for initial?
It's 16 hours of training.
16 hours.
It's an 8-hour. It kind of really breaks down to 12 hours of classroom time and 4 hours of range time. So, but they say 8 and 8. So because I think
going to the 4 hours of range time, would you consider that practice time, or what does that 4 hours consist of?
That 4 hours is strictly for the instructor to verify that you can operate a weapon safely, whatever the weapon is that you've chosen to use. So if you're going to use a revolver, you have to know about, have to open the cylinder and, get your rounds in and out. If you're using, pretty much any other semi-automatic, you have to be able to load and unload safely, show them that you know how to do that. And then you have to be able to shoot. You have to be able to effectively engage a target at 2 or 3 different distances.
Correct, 3.
3 different distances, right? And hit the target at those distances. So they're not there to instruct you at all. That's all. The instruction is classroom. They do that ahead of time, and that's, these are the things you can do, these are the things you can't do, this is where you can carry, can't carry. The range is you have to already know. And if you don't know, I will say that the instructor that I went through, he said, listen, I've never failed anybody. Well, he's like, there was one guy, but he earned it. And that was not in my class either.
Really
he really earned it. But they will get you through it. But the whole point of it is you're supposed to demonstrate to them that you know what you're doing. So,
correct. Yeah. And it's a body size silhouette to the just to the waistline, I believe, and you can hit anywhere inside of there other than a head shot.
Yeah, it was so. Yes, that is true. Mine had some fun with us at the end of it, and so he saw I already knew how to shoot, so he kind of sneaks up to me at the end. He's like, headshot. So I took 2 seconds. Give me another headshot. Give me another headshot. I was like, okay, we get to have fun now? He's like, yeah, we get to have fun now. So, but yes, you have to be able to hit center mass. So
right. And so then after that, so now you've completed that, you have your certificate of completion from the training facility. Now what?
So all of that gets sent to your investigator. All the documentation is, electronic, send to them, and then you wait, and you wait, and you wait, and then wait for it.
Here we go.
You wait.
And then what are you waiting for?
You're waiting for them to tell you that, okay, we've received your paperwork, and now we're going to schedule a time for you to come in to actually pick the thing up. So, and then you schedule it. And then you wait.
With me, and I know with you as well, you're going to receive a phone call. It could be from a private number, an unknown number,
or a blocked number.
And you have to answer that call.
Yeah.
If you don't answer that call, that puts you at the back of the queue. Well, not at the back of the queue, but that puts you behind, and then you have to wait for them to recall you to then set your date, which is already going to be a month to 6 weeks from the phone call for you to pick up. Yeah. So it's a very long, slow process, and it's a little tricky in there. Why they can't call you from a number with an ID, I don't know.
Because they don't want you to know.
But you can call that number back.
Yeah, but they don't want you to know. They don't want you to know. They got to keep you waiting. You know what I'm saying? How bad do you want it? Are you going to answer a block number? You know what I'm saying?
Spam calls that you ever receive.
And the answer is yes.
Yeah, I mean, I was answering every spam call that I had, and actually, my pickup call was at one of my kids' sports event at school.
Yep.
And I almost didn't answer it. I was like, we're in the middle of doing something. And I answered it, and thank God I did. And it was 6 weeks later, and then I picked it up.
Here we are. So, but that is one of the reasons why we created this podcast, was to help you figure out how to get how to navigate through this. You can go to our website and check it out. We've got a course there that'll help you get through the paperwork and all that kind of good stuff. And
we can help navigate you through that entire process.
All right. Well, that concludes the first ever episode of the Point 370 TNT podcast. I'm Mike.
I'm Craig.
And if you have more questions, go check out our website, where we have a class that says, "So you got your CCW? Now what?" Mm-hmm. Don't forget to like and subscribe, do all the things, and help spread the word, because
we're here to help.
Yeah, we are.
So why not have somebody help you out? Yeah.
Goodbye.
Have somebody help you out.
That's it.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Give us the things. Do all the things.
Do the things.
Do it.